So I get asked at Biz Leadz all the time. First of all, Biz Leadz Proprietary Limited is a lead generation company, BIZ, LEADZ. Biz Leadz specialises in providing live leads, live transfers, inbound calls to the finance, insurance, home services, and renewables sectors. Now, we're going to cover today understanding the basics of lead generation. So, the first thing you want to do is know what your goal is when you're doing lead generation, and these come with a variety of different parameters that you want to follow in order to get to what goal you're trying to do. So we have everything from lead magnets, simple quizzes, full loan applications, and I'll list off a few more. But first of all, lead magnets. So what is a lead magnet? Lead magnet is something that you do to get someone to give you your contact information in order for you to give them something back. So let's say you're a personal trainer and you want to give away a 6-week personal training course, let's say. So this 6-week personal training course or a training program, it won't include diet, won't include sleep, nothing like that. Recovery, nothing, just training. So 6 weeks, so you basically run an ad, you say to them, sweet, you get 6 weeks of this training program that helps you achieve X, Y, Z. And then in exchange, I'll get your contact details, which then I can follow you up now or at a later date. Now you have something like simple quizzes. Now a simple quiz can be where you just collect data, but you don't actually follow through with it. So you can tell them and not collect, for example, their contact details, which then means there's not going to be as much drop off. People don't feel as intruded on if it's like misleading or anything like that. So a simple quiz where you just want to collect data in the market before potentially launching a product, service, anything like that. Next is just like full loan application. So you could be wanting to generate a lead that has a full loan application that you can submit straight away. Obviously very high intent. It's going to cost a fair bit because you have to have someone on the spot who's willing to give you all that information. But that's another kind of lead generation, is full loan applications. Next is landing page views or blog views, for example. So this is like you're a newsletter site and you want them to visit your page and potentially return, like the Australian Financial Review, something like that, or Forbes, where you want them to visit your landing page, read content. Obviously there's later steps, but I'm just talking about the initial steps. Read it, enjoy it, and potentially come back. Then there's buy sites or shops, like e-commerce shops, Shopify, things like that, where you want them to go on, you want them straight away to become a lead, but in becoming a lead, they also buy a product or anything, a course, anything like that that you're really wanting them. Next is email lists, so like newsletters. So like you want them to basically come through, put their email in or some specific contact details and move on from there. Finally, I know there's a lot more than this, but then finally there is webinars or VSLs, video sales letter funnels. Webinar, obviously you want them to sign up for something where they come back at a later time to then watch a video, or they watch the video straight away. Now that's where it more so leads into like a VSL, video sales letter, where it's more so you enter in contact information, you get something from me, and you also get a video of me showing you what to do. Now, there are a couple of different ways of generating leads. Now, what Biz Leadz specializes in is full form, high intent, basically, inquiries. So this is specifically, a lot of these are quite good, but Biz Leadz specifically focuses on pay per lead, for example. So the basics of that is just they come in, they go to a landing page, they enter in their contact details, with intent to get a specific result at the end, like a vehicle loan or a business loan or insurance or something like that. But now these are all the ways that you can basically have leads generated for you. These are all the different ways. Now, for what kinds of companies people ask, you can use any of these for nearly every company. E-com companies, service-based companies, everything you can use these methods for. They're not super industry specific. You can run a VSL, a video sales letter funnel, in fitness and also potentially in e-commerce. Obviously the effectiveness of each is going to be very specific on how well it works. Like you wouldn't want to run a webinar on how to buy your $5 widget, for example. But you will notice that with what company you have, you will be able to match each of these lead generation types and what will be the most effective for you. Now, next is going to be your platform. So you want to achieve these different things. So you want to then be able to choose the platform that you want, whether that's TV, newspaper, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, or now X. So you want to be able to choose your platform that bases well on this. For example, LinkedIn is a very expensive advertising tool. I've never personally done a webinar on LinkedIn, but you'll be able to mix and match things like that. LinkedIn is quite an expensive platform per inquiry, which means you want that to be used well. So you wouldn't want to use something that you need $2 signups or 50-cent signups to a webinar to it in order to make money, because it won't be very profitable for you. Once again, going back to how to reach $1 million a year, you need low cost to make profits so you can progress. Now, from these things, when you find your platform, you find what kind of business you have, and you also have what type of lead generation you want to use. These are the three things that you can start with that are very important. Next is going to be your target audience. So target audience is very important because your target audience indicates, first of all, where everyone's going to be. So you need to know your persona of your customer to be able to do this. But let's say you're in, once again, let's say you're in finance. You're a business loan brokerage. You're going to know that you need business owners. You don't need consumers. You just need business owners. So where's the highest percentage of business owners potentially? It can be LinkedIn, because everyone on there that you can target, you can hyper target on those business owners, or targeting just business owners on Facebook, for example. So that's why it's so important to really understand the basics of lead generation. Know that your target audience is one of the most important things. There's a couple different splits that people use. I like the one where I think Dan Wardrobe uses. I think it's quite important. His has changed over the years, but you've got like 60% audience or target. You've got 60% audience or who you're targeting for effectiveness of both lead generation and converting to a sale. So you've got 60% of that. Then you've got 25% is your creative. So you're up to 85% now. And then 15% is your offer. So your offer is obviously more important, but this is just for advertising. This isn't so much for making sales. That's just for advertising, for getting people in the door. That's one I think that Dan Woodruff uses. I try and keep that true, but then you can obviously go and optimize your offer and everything like that. Now, next is qualification. This directly links into targeting, because you can target the best people in the world, but if you just let everyone through, it may not be the best for you. So qualification. So how do you want to qualify? Basic demographics is how you want to qualify initially. Then you really want to hone in on things like interests, like actual interests that the individual has, their specific individual characteristics, such as being a homeowner, business owner, things like that. Like for example, under Biz Leadz, obviously we can only have and provide leads to business owners, or get in contact with potentially people high up in that organization so they can bring it to their CEO, boss, owner, founder, whoever, and then basically we work with them and partner up with them. So it's very important to actually have qualification to make sure that when it's going through that there is intent. So in Biz Leadz example, we ask, like, what position do you have in the company? How many leads do you want? Because of lead generation and how important lead generation is, it would be foolish to not understand how important then sales is on top of lead generation. So for example, you have the three pillars. The three pillars are your offer, how good your actual offer is. Like, I get loans at 5% for people. Number 2 is your lead generation. And number 3 is your sales. Now, there are more steps to this puzzle. But for example, those three are the first 3 you have to do in order. Your offer has to be amazing. You have to generate amazing amounts of leads from your amazing offer, and then you have to be able to close those leads with your amazing offer and your amazing leads. It works literally 1, 2, 3. It works unbelievably well. So your qualification is very, very important, because you want to make sure your sales team has the best chance of actually closing these people. So knowing that, what position do you have? How many leads, in my example of Biz Leadz, can you take on per week? So that we know that if you can take on 100 leads per week, it means you probably have a team of salespeople, potentially a sales manager, potentially a team leader, and a lot of sales reps. So that is very important when we are doing that and selling high volume leads. Now, last but definitely not least, is measuring success. A lot of people try and measure success in lead generation off, I don't know, link clicks, landing page views, things like that, when that really doesn't matter. What matters is actually having quantitative sales and money in the bank, unfortunately. I hate to say it, but people just need to accept that we're in business to change the world, make some money, and move forward. So making money to make sure that the lights stay on and you actually progress forward is unbelievably important. So measuring it based on success is very important, because it doesn't also just show you what metrics to follow in terms of lead gen, like how many leads did I get. It measures everything and all the way through of how effective this actually is. So you start from contact rate, or how many leads you get, over here. So how many leads do you get? You got 100 leads. I contacted 60 of them. Then from those 60, I booked 20 appointments. So far you're at 60% contact rate, you're at 33% appointment rate, and then I closed 2 sales. Then you're at a 10% sale to appointment rate. So right here, what do you think the issue is? You've got 60% appointment rate, so that could go, lead rate, contact rate, So that could go up a little bit to maybe 70, 80%, and you could really work on that. But next, appointment rate. You have a 33% appointment rate. That's not too bad. And then you have a very low sales rate, appointment to sale rate being 10%. You went from 20 appointments to 2 appointments. Now, what could be your issue here? Because also, when you measure success, you know where to target. So I know in this situation, it's hypothetical, that you need to potentially increase contact rate a little bit more. This can be done through ad congruency and a bunch of other things, automated messages, message timing, everything like that. But then your appointment rate is pretty good. Don't touch what you don't need to. That is pretty good. Don't work on that. Work on the lowest hanging fruit always. As long as you just improve the weakest link or the bottleneck, that's all that really matters. So then you have a 10% appointment to sale rate. It's unbelievably low. A lot of our industries range from 30% up to 90%. So 10% is unbelievably low. So this either means your appointments, potentially you have an appointment problem, meaning they didn't qualify the lead enough, or your closers can't close. They're the 2 things right here that you could be thinking of and why that is so low. Now, when you measure success of lead generation and actually understanding the basics of lead generation, this is what you come to. You come to actually actionable things that you can do to help improve your business. Now, Biz Leadz does all this for you. Leads helps you with contact rates, appointment setting script, sales scripts, everything like this. We help with this. I've done this before as well. Biz Leadz is one of my companies, and it is the pillar and the foundation of all of my other sales-based companies, and obviously other ones as well. But measuring success is the final point. So we've got so far types of lead generation, for which company, target audience, your platform, your qualification criteria, and then measuring success. These are some very, very important points. Make sure to take this away, write these down, because these will help you. These have helped me greatly finding these and going through these. But this was the first piece of content from myself for Biz Leadz, understanding the basics of lead generation. Speak soon.